life can play some really funny tricks on you at times and turn up some really unpleasant things. Oh, hi, I'm Zoe, and I live near Chepstow, which is just across the river from Bristol in the United Kingdom, and you can see it here. It's just beautiful in the countryside. I came out nearly 7 years ago, and at the time I was very afraid to broach the whole question of my transition and who I am with my family, in particular my children. But on the surface, it all seemed to come out far better than I'd expected. And I was happy. In fact, I was happy to the point of euphoria that I somehow was let free to be who I am. And that stayed with me. I was euphoric maybe for 2 or 3 months. I couldn't even eat properly. I was so excited and so happy. But now, all this time later, things are coming to the surface that I hadn't expected or would have hoped would never have happened. I think that my adult children, in varying ways, have had to deal with grief and anger and fear as a consequence of their father not being the person that they thought that I was. Grief because of that loss, anger maybe because they will have felt deceived after all those years, all those decades of me being seemingly one person and then apparently another. Then maybe fear, fear for me, fear also for what's going on in society, for things are certainly much more difficult now than they were 7 years ago in this country. And the idea of having to deal with friends and other members of family about me being a trans woman, I don't know. Only they can know those feelings. It's understandable if they have some of them. It really is. This is not about transphobia. This is about a sense of who you are and in the way your parent plays a part in defining that. And so I'm really unhappy that some of them today are feeling the need to keep a distance from me because of this, because of their own discomfort, because they need time. It makes me very sad that I may have harmed them in this way, upset their lives, turned them upside down, in fact, in this way. But also I feel, well, actually I've not changed. I've just revealed more of who I am. And I'm just being true to myself. And that ought to be, in a way, a good example of how to live your life. To actually be true to yourself and not worry too much about what other people think, but just be feeling your own feelings. And I think, well, this is not fair. But then I realize, well, it actually is not easy. It is actually tough for it to be around me. And I also think other unresolved issues may have come to the surface given all the re-examination that goes on with having to deal with a parent like me. Other things that are not resolved will have then to be dealt with. And in some cases that maybe hasn't happened. Now that's all speculation on my part because I don't actually know. You can't know what's going on in someone else's mind, but you can know what's going on in your own. And I know that I've experienced a great deal, profound amount of unhappiness as a result of all of this. And I hope that in my last years of life that I will get close to them, because when you are old, your children become more important to you than they almost ever were, or at least the desire to be with them is perhaps far greater than it was a few decades ago. I want to be with them, and I want to see my grandchildren, and I have many of those. I'm very lucky. And I just hope that that will in fact happen in all cases rather than in some cases. We will see. Life at times has its very considerable ups and downs. And that's what I'm experiencing, a roller coaster. Now, just changing the subject slightly to something lighter, I had a comment on one of the videos in the comment section saying, well, why is it that your first video is of such higher quality than all the subsequent ones that you've put out? The reason is quite simple. So the very first one was filmed by students in Bristol with the support of a very, very able tutor and with excellent equipment at their command. I was very happy with it. It's had about 40 odd thousand views and it's been a great success. But of course, it reflects me many years ago now, whereas this is talking about how things are for me now. Um, but there we are. I have to work with the home equipment that I've got, which is not the same, believe me. And I'm talking on my own. I think talking alone makes it harder to be natural. Times when I look back at what I'm doing, I feel it's a bit like the Queen's broadcast at Christmas. Oh dear, a bit stiff, a bit stilted. Which again, when you're talking to someone while you're doing it, it's not like that. Well, I'm going to finish there and I'll say bye bye for now. See you soon, maybe.